Pikmin 3 is an interesting Pikmin game when it comes to types. It's arguably one of, if not the most unbalanced Pikmin game in terms of types. It's strange because it doesn't really feel like it, but if you think about it, we have two extremely good Pikmin types. One type that is only useful because you tend to have it in high numbers. One that is pretty useless, only really being used as a key, and then one of the worst Pikmin types in the series are on the very edge of being useless. Now this 5-type dynamic present in the story mode is interesting enough, but that's not the most interesting thing, as stuffed away in the side modes of Pikmin 3 are the two worst types of Pikmin in the entire series. If you don't include stuff like the Puffman or unused Pick carrots, these guys are at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to Pikmin types, to the point where their existence is kind of baffling. I'm of course talking about the purple and white Pikmin, who in Pikmin 3 are really weird and pretty useless, but why? This video will answer that question, but before we begin, make sure to subscribe for high quality Pikmin videos weekly. The first strange thing about purple and white Pikmin is where you obtain them. They are not in the main story mode, they are in the collect treasure missions and in a few stages of bingo battle. I don't think them not being in story mode is a bad thing, they wouldn't have served much purpose there and probably would have bloated up the Pikmin types. The game struggles to keep just 5 of them in check, so I think not having them in the story mode was the right decision. That being said, do they serve much purpose in the side modes? No, not really. I'll start with the best of the two, the purple Pikmin. If you know about purple Pikmin, it's probably because of Pikmin 2, where they're complete menaces, and if you think about any ability they had in Pikmin 2, they probably don't have it in Pikmin 3. I'll start with the most egregious change, and that is their slam attack. It didn't get nerfed, it got fucking lobotomized. If you throw a purple Pikmin, they automatically do this attack and they do their slam, dish out 0 damage, stand on the enemy like it's a floor, and just stand there doing nothing. This will alert the enemy and immediately give it the combat advantage. What is even the point? You have to charge purple Pikmin now because of this, because if you don't throw them, they do jack shit and just wake up the enemy. In Pikmin 2, this attack did 50 damage, had a 10% stun chance, could home in on enemies, and they would continue attacking after doing it. The only thing they kept in Pikmin 3 is them homing onto enemies. They don't even do a sliver of damage. It's not even nerfed, the attack part isn't even there anymore. The only way they could have made this worse is by having the attack accompanied by a laugh track followed by circus music and messages littering the screen about how much of a dumbass you are. There was absolutely no point to them doing this anymore if it's just going to do absolutely nothing at all. Just have them latch onto the enemy like every other Pikmin type if you don't want them to have the slam attack. All this does is make you get your ass handed to you by any enemy you use it on, which just wastes time in the mode with some of the strictest time limits in Pikmin. It punishes you for expecting the Pikmin to function and not lay on top of enemies. Aside from their slam attack, every other aspect about them has been either nerfed or just straight up removed. Their attack damage has gone from 2 times all the way down to 1.5 times. You usually have them in pretty small numbers, so I don't think this was exactly necessary, especially considering they lose their best attack as well. They also had their digging speed nerfed by the same rate as well. Digging speed was tied to attack speed in Pikmin 2, which Pikmin 3 changed by having every type's digging speed specified. But I think purple's having a faster digging speed would make sense for the collect treasure missions. They also lose their niche abilities of wind resistance and being able to instantly weigh down flying enemies. All these changes lead to their combat abilities being severely outclassed by rock Pikmin. The side modes in Pikmin 3 are set to the easiest difficulty by default with no way of changing it, and on this difficulty, rock Pikmin might as well be purple Pikmin from Pikmin 2. They can mow down enemies in only a couple of throws, have their own niche of being immune to getting crushed, and can even knock down some flying enemies in one throw, stealing an ability from purples. The contrast from purples in Pikmin 2 compared to Pikmin 3 is just absolutely huge. I mean, purples in Pikmin 2 have a Swiss Army knife of abilities to utilize from, while in Pikmin 3 they basically have nothing except for a small reminder of the past with their broken and horrible slam attack. You'd think this would make purples completely useless, but there is one saving grace. One ability that was kept from Pikmin 2, and that is their weight. They still weigh 10 Pikmin and are useful for slowly carrying back heavy treasures so you can maximize the amount of Pikmin in your squad while getting tasks done. Their niche in this game is no longer combat, it's carrying heavy objects. While this is a very small niche and they are still very bad compared to their Pikmin 2 and 4 counterparts, it stops them from being completely useless and also justifies their existence in this game. You need to learn how to utilize purple's carrying abilities effectively in order to get the platinum medals in the missions they are featured in. No other Pikmin can fill out this niche, so they do still serve some purpose. I feel like all their downsides come from laziness. Well, not really laziness, it's more like effective development management. I mean, think about it, if you plan to include purples for the small niche of carrying heavy objects, is it really worth it to spend a bunch of development time giving them all of their small niche abilities and attacks from Pikmin 2? The answer is probably not, it wouldn't be that helpful anyways considering there is already a type that fills out the combat role, rock Pikmin. While purples are a bad type compared to basically every other type of Pikmin, even other bad types like reds from Pikmin 2, at least they serve a small purpose and have a justifiable existence. missions. This cannot be said for the white Pikmin, easily the worst type in the series. Their niche in Pikmin Tree is one thing: speed. They are meant to be fast for collecting treasures, but unlike purples, this can be done by other Pikmin types. In this case, the niche of speed is also shared with winged Pikmin, who are just way better than whites in every way. Winged Pikmin can take large shortcuts and fly over enemies in water, which white Pikmin cannot do. This is often worsened by the fact the game will often pair white and winged Pikmin in the same mission stages. Winged Pikmin are basically like your favourite cereal, and white Pikmin are the shitty store-branded knockoff version of that cereal that you only eat when the other good cereal is out of stock. That sums them up. They're just knockoff winged Pikmin that are worse in basically every single way. You could remove whites from all the mission stages and replace them with winged Pikmin. It would make basically no difference to the stage. You get them in such small numbers in mission stages compared to winged Pikmin that they're basically relegated to really small fruits and gold piles, while winged Pikmin are able to apply their speed benefits to larger treasures alongside small ones and gold piles. Sometimes white Pikmin are even spawned in by default and you have to use candy pop builds to get them, which takes time and can occasionally be slower than just playing the rest of the mission without them. There's also no poison in Pikmin Tree, which was their main resistance in Pikmin 2, and there's also no hidden berry treasures that only they can uncover. This is another aspect winged Pikmin outclass them in. Winged Pikmin have a specific type of gate only they can lift, pullweeds only they can destroy, along with partial immunities to water and crushing, and potentially every hazard if it's out of the way and they can just fly over it. The game also nerfs their attack damage, which is just taking notes from winged Pikmin for no reason. Winged Pikmin have half attack damage because they can instantly fly onto several enemies' weak points, so if they had normal 1x damage it would be absolutely nuts. Even with their half damage they can still be extremely good in combat. Being able to have a Pikmin that can instantly fly into a weak point in a large group can still absolutely wreak havoc. White Pikmin also have half damage, but why? They function like every other default Pikmin and can't fly onto enemies' weak points, so the nerf is just unneeded. They're such a bad type that their badness somehow leaked into other games. Pikmin 4 keeps the half damage from Pikmin 3 along with bringing back poison from Pikmin 2. The retained half damage leads to the dog being the best option for dealing with poison hazards and enemies most of the time. The Pikmin made to deal with poison should not be the secondary solution to dealing with it. To match their attack damage nerf, the game also have their digging speed, which is also pretty unnecessary. Winged Pikmin have half damage and half digging speed, so you think to maybe try give winged Pikmin the upper hand in efficiency slightly by defaulting their attack and digging speed, but no. They carry the disadvantages of winged Pikmin but none the actual advantages. In fact, the disadvantages affect them more. As I already said, they don't have wings, they can't fly into any enemy's weak point. Finally is that they have the ability to poison enemies when consumed, which was also nerfed in Pikmin 3. One white Pikmin getting eaten can kill a Bulborb instantly in Pikmin 2. In Pikmin 3 it takes 5 whites. This isn't really a big deal because it probably would just be a waste of time to feed Pikmin to enemies in the mission modes, and as stated earlier you have a small selection of whites to work with, so it wouldn't be good to just purposely get them consumed regardless. If a white Pikmin got consumed in Pikmin 2 by accident, at least it would usually kill that enemy instantly as a sort of apology for losing one of your rare Pikmin types. Now it just deals a pretty inconsequential amount of damage and there really wasn't need to nerf it considering the enemies in Pikmin 3 are weaker. The only things the consumption damage instantly kills in Pikmin 3 are small, weak enemies like the sheer grubs and dwarf bulborbs, which you could usually just kill instantly anyways. It's not even every small enemy. The cloaking Burrownit would die with 1 white Pikmin consumption, but Pikmin 3's version of the Burrownit, the Joustmite, he takes 3 white Pikmin to die from poison. It's such an unnecessary nerf and defeats the entire point of this mechanic, which is to slightly make up for losing a rare Pikmin such as whites by immediately disposing of the enemy that killed it. Overall, whites are just pretty useless. I don't even know why they were in this game. The only reason I can think of is that maybe the devs would have thought it would be weird to only have purple Pikmin, so whites were just there as a hasty last minute addition to the game because they really don't feel fleshed out or work with the levels they're in. As I already said, you can completely replace them with winged Pikmin and nothing would change. At least some of the purple Pikmin's nerfs were kinda funny, here it's just kinda sad. White Pikmin weren't even a type that needed a nerf unlike purples from Pikmin 2, but they got one anyways and it kinda stuck to them for the entire series after Pikmin 3. They were actually pretty good and fun to use in Pikmin 2, but now they've been relegated to the worst type in every entry after Pikmin 2. Pikmin 3 characterized them as being weak, puny Pikmin, which stuck around, while purples got to recover after Pikmin 3, whites did not get the same fortune. That concludes basically everything you need to know about purple and white Pikmin in Pikmin 3. They're just really strange types, locked behind side modes in the menu and just overshadowed by every other Pikmin type that actually gets featured in the story mode. They are by far the most baffling types in the series, and it's easy to see why. They aren't very good at all. They feel like they were really only there for fan service, especially the white Pikmin, which I guess their addition is harmless, and the purples do work well with the missions they are in, even if they pale in comparison to every other Pikmin type. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for high quality Pikmin videos weekly, or else you will be locked behind the collect treasures mode in Pikmin 3, never able to see your family or friends again.